Hey there, nerds. Jimmy here with Nerd Alert, and as always, my sidekicks.
James.
And I never signed up to be a sidekick. That is not what I thought that was going to be. Brandon here, and I guess
I
the sidekick.
appreciate that you pointed that out. I also really appreciate James didn't even question. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a sidekick."
Well, I mean, he like genetically, like is your sidekick. Yes. I don't know how I got roped into that, but here I am.
Well, we're a partnership. How's that? We're like
There we go.
Batman, Superman, and then we have
then Batman
Robin
over there. No, Batman's powerful.
Oracle.
Yeah, Oracle. You
what?
You're a ginger.
Oh yeah, he's Guy Gardner. There we go.
Who was the guy? There was a character. He was like deaf and mute, and during No Man's Land, he's like a construction worker. I'll look it up. We'll figure it out. But anyways,
there are many times I wish he was mute. Yeah. Anywho, we are back because recently James and I had a discussion / disagreement on Back to the Future. He claimed that in the second movie, which takes place 1985, 2015, and 1955, that in the 1955 part at the end, there were 3 DeLoreans in that timeline.
Which I would like to amend.
No.
Oh.
I disagreed with him and I said, no, I don't think so. So we brought in Brandon. I will allow James to describe what he told me, and it sounds like he amended it because I'm genius and he's not, and he wanted to be.
Hold on. Before you get into James, to get into context, Jimmy and I, a long time ago, in our previous nerding adventures, came to a conclusion that in the third Back to the Future, you can eliminate the entire plot point because you have 2 halves of one working DeLorean. So that is where our conversation ended. So now I want to see James's addition to the debate.
And to preface this is, to me, this really is fascinating. This movie came out in 1985 or 6, somewhere around there. And it was everywhere. Like, I couldn't fathom somebody who hadn't seen it. So James obviously saw it because of me. Now in college, introduced his friends to it who, for the most part, hadn't seen it. And that blew my mind that there's a group of people that have no clue what Back to the Future is.
Yeah,
so he's the 1 and 2, I believe.
Yes, we watched the first 2. So the way it can be seen, because the time travel rules of Back to the Future tend to contradict themselves consistently, is that there is a possibility that there were 3 DeLoreans in Back to the Future 2. Don't nod. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't shake your head. No. Let me finish.
I want to see where you're at with it.
I hit both of you. Now, again, the rules are very flimsy, so it depends on how you understand the rules or choose not to understand the rules. There could be 3 DeLoreans in Back to the Future. There is obviously the one in Back to the Future 2. There's obviously the one that goes back the first time. There's the one that goes back the second time to get the almanac from Biff. And then there's the one in the mine shaft. But the reason that's a little iffy is because of the way Back to the Future rules work.
And my assessment was there is no DeLorean in the mine shaft until the flying DeLorean at the end of 1955 Back to the Future 2 is struck by lightning.
But there's still a possibility because of all the bootstrap paradoxes prevalent in the first and second movies.
It won't be there until it gets struck by lightning.
But we don't know that.
No, because it has to. It wouldn't be in the mine shaft because they. Hold on. No, now my brain's hurting.
See, this is why the rules are so flimsy. Because you have the boot.
If it didn't get hit by lightning, would there be one in the mine shaft?
We don't know. We don't know until we actively see if it's in the shaft or not.
With the DeLorean.
But here's the thing. You then have the bootstrap paradox of Johnny Be Good, which then means there could have been the DeLorean in the mine shaft because Doc would have been hit by lightning regardless. It is an inevitable point in time.
No.
So we're saying that at the end of, or even during the events of Back to the Future 2, there is one in the mine shaft. There was the one that is completing what you saw in the first movie, and then there's the one that Marty is currently driving.
That's the assessment.
Okay, but how does that fix Doc in the Old West? It's irrelevant to have it in the mine shaft in that point in time because he still goes back in time and then gets struck by an arrow, which then he puts it in the mine shaft.
Yeah, no, so what? No, it's Doc who puts it in the mine shaft.
Yeah, but Brandon's just pointing out what happened in the story. It really doesn't matter whether there's 3 or not in the movie or itself. The assessment is James says there's 3.
The whole point is to get Doc back to the present. Or to get Marty back to the present to save Doc Brown. So even if you have 3 and 55, you have to go back to the Old West. So that doesn't. Am I wrong?
James, you're just not thinking fourth dimensionally.
We're playing 4D chess over here.
I'm the physicist.
And it's amazing.
No, that's a straight. You're in training.
Well, now, James, if you want to argue there are 2 DeLoreans and a time traveling train in 1985, I will be down with that idea.
There is a
No,
time
that
traveling
is-
train in 1985.
That is a good point.
And a weird little kid going like this and pointing at his crotch.
And you could even argue for a snippet. There were 3 DeLoreans in 1985 before the real train destroyed the one. If you want to argue with me on that, I'll agree. But if you want to say there's a train,
What an a-hole! What an absolute a-hole, by the way, that he was just like, "Here's my time to destroy this." Instead, I have a giant train.
Yeah.
Far less inconspicuous, and no one else gets to time travel but me and my family.
Exactly. Until they make another sequel.
No, you're right. There are 3 for a very brief moment in 3 because he comes back at almost the exact moment in time every time. So there's the one in the first one, then there's when Doc immediately comes back in the second movie, and then there's the third one when he comes back with the train right before it gets destroyed.
Go back to the part where you said I was right.
Shut the hell up. Just stop talking. Oh,
But no, I still don't think I understand what you're talking about with bootstrap paradox. It's the same thing.
You guys
Yo,
can
I
come
would-
in. I've just got camera on, so that side of the room if you want to be in here. Sorry.
I agree with you in the bootstrap paradox, and I'm messing with you because I know it's one of those things where we won't know the answer. And it's my joke with Terminator. It's like, well, who is his dad the first time around?
It's a perfect loop. The entire movie is a perfect loop.
I know, but
Yeah,
I
but then
still
nothing- but
contend you
nothing
cannot
changes.
have the DeLorean in the mine shaft until
If
the
it's a
one
loop-
DeLorean gets struck by lightning.
If it's a loop, then nothing's ever going to change. They're just stuck like this forever.
Well, no, that's because Back to the Future is 2 contradictory types of time travel.
Can we all just agree that Ant-Man was right?
No. What? No.
Which is just bullshit.
Definitely
No,
Ant-Man.
that is
Definitely Ant-Man.
that is tone deaf. No.
Listen, Paul Rudd had it right all along, and we're so proud of him for doing
And look
it.
at his future in the MCU. He certainly doesn't end up in a bad place in Deadpool.
Yeah,
Wolverine.
dude, he's fine.
Okay, let's be real though.
Good.
Paul Rudd is the real time traveler. How do you
Oh.
age like that?
Although, if you want to say
Handsome as
that,
the
Wilford
devil.
Brimley is too, because he never really changed his look.
That's true.
Handsome as the devil.
Wait a minute.
Well, that's our Back to the Future stuff. I'm
Or
not
getting
sure
journalism.
if that's what you came here for. Stories like these.